Okay, this time I'll be going over the chemistry throwback sheet for week 1 on metric conversions. Before we get started on that, I want to summarize how things work with the metric conversion. So you all had this mnemonic that you were supposed to have memorized. It says, King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. What that stands for is kilo, hecto, deca, the base unit, which you have to keep in mind, that's things like meters, liters, and grams that don't have any letter or any prefix ahead of them. So that's just the base units right there in the middle, deci, centi, and milli. So the method that we're going to use to do this is something called the metric jumper. So basically what we'll be doing is looking at this acronym, and we'll be moving depending on what we're given. So let's say that we want to go from centigrams just to normal grams. We'd start here with centi, and we jump over 2 places, okay? And then in the problem, we're going to jump over 2 places in the same direction. So in this case, 2 places to the left with a decimal point. All right? Let's say that you wanted to go from hectometers down to millimeters. Well, you'd have to jump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places over. And that's the same thing that you would do with your decimal point. You'd move it over 5 places to the right. So that's fundamentally what we'll be doing here on this assignment. It's pretty easy, so I think you should catch the hang of it pretty quickly if you don't remember it from before. So I've got the metric jumper there on the side. This first one says that it wants us to convert from grams to kilograms. So grams being the base unit, we're going to start at that underscore at that line. We're going to jump over to kilograms. That's 1, 2, 3 spaces over. So we're going to do that same thing with the decimal point. We're going to move it 1, 2, 3 places over, and what we end up with there is 0.00572 kilograms. Continuing on with problem number 2, in this case we're going from liters to deciliters. So again, we're going to start out with the base unit, but we're going this time just 1 spot over here to the right. So similarly, we'll take our decimal point and move it 1 spot over to the right. So in this one, we just end up with 2,227 deciliters. On the next problem, we're going from meters to centimeters, so starting here with the base, going over 2 to the right. So we'll do the same thing with our decimal point here. We'll move it over 1, 2 spots to the right, so 1645 centimeters. Grams to milligrams, going from the base unit grams, 1, 2, 3 spots to the right there, so this ends up being 39,560 milligrams, because this is jumping over 1, 2, 3 spots. Grams to decagrams. All right, starting with the base unit, jumping over 1 to the left. So we'll do the same thing here with the decimal point, 1 left. We get 1.05. Now here, number 6 is the first problem where we're not starting with the base unit. So in this case, we're starting with milligrams and we're going to decigrams. So starting here with milligrams and jumping over 1, 2 spots. We're going to do the same thing with the decimal point, 2 spots to the left, so 1, 2. All right, so we need to put a 0 in here as a placeholder. So it's 0.0354 decagrams. Next one here, going from grams to hectograms, so starting with the base unit, moving over 2 spots there to the left. So we'll do the same thing here. 1, 2 spots. This ends up being 0.286. 910 meters to decimeters. This one we start here, the base unit, we move over 1 to the right. So this gives you 9,100 decimeters. just taking that decimal point. It's not shown there, but it would be right here, and we're moving it 1 over to the right. Kilograms to centigrams. Okay, so we're starting with K, we're moving to C. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots over to the right. So we're going to do the same thing with our decimal point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get 670 centigrams. All right, I'll just do one more and then I'll skip to the end. So we've got 1,488 centimeters to hectometers. So going centimeters to hectometers, it is 1, 2, 3, 4 spots going there to the left. So we're going to start here, 1, 2, 3, 4 spots there. You get 0.1488. All right, I've finished those up now. If you look here, question number 14 is a little interesting. It asks you to go from milliliters to centimeters cubed. I won't require you to know that. That's just depending on knowing, though, that 1 milliliter equals 1 centimeter cubed. It's a handy metric conversion to know. So it's just 1 to 1 there. All right, scrolling down to these problems here at the bottom. It says Ethan lives at one end of Park Avenue. Brian lives at the other end of the avenue. It is 5.8 kilometers from the end of Park Avenue to the other. If Ethan walks 2.79 kilometers toward Brian's house, how many more meters does he have to walk to get there? And so something key to understand here is it's asking how many more meters does he have to walk, meaning what we're going to do is see how far he's walked already. And see what the total distance is and see how much more he would have to walk. Well, 5.8 kilometers would convert to 5,800 meters. Assuming that he has already walked 2.79 kilometers, which is 2,790 meters, we end up with only 3,010 meters remaining. All right, and then this last problem here, it said, Devin had the chicken pox and had to stay inside even though he didn't feel very bad at all. He decided to make a cake to surprise his mother. The recipe said he needed 4 deciliters of milk. How many liters of milk did he need? Well, this one's just a simple conversion. We're going deciliters of milk to liters. So in this case, we're going from liters, we're going from deciliters, which is right next to liters, just jumping over 1. If you write out King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. Okay, we're just jumping over here from deciliters over to liters. So 4 deciliters, if you jump over 1 spot, ends up equaling 0.4 liters. All right, that is it. If you have any questions, make sure you come see me.